So I'm guessing you're just as curious as I am as what are some of the best places to actually, you know, have a base, or a base technically, but set up camp in Fallout 76, because there's honestly a lot of room. And you know, with all the players on the server, you actually have quite a big selection of where you want to build your base. So there are a few things that you want to consider whenever you are building a base, such as, you know, like, is the area any good? Is it, you know, too populated? Maybe it's just too much for you and you don't want to, you know, be shot at every time that you know, spawn into your base or whatever. And with all that being said, realistically, you can build wherever you want. Nothing's really stopping you. You can honestly build it on a Fischer Site if you really just want to. If something in you just says, hey, I really want to die every time I spawn in, yeah, you can go ahead and do that. But there are a few things that I like to look for whenever I go to find a new little spot for my base, which I actually haven't really had to make a new base here recently because I have all of my little check marks on where I am right now, so why should I move? But for some of you guys that don't really know where you want to be, and maybe you're not happy with your base location, maybe you think it's not the best, then I think this video is just up your alley. Neat. Oh yes! Oh wait, no. So if you're one of those very, very nice people that just so happens to be building like a little outpost for maybe new players or just any player in general, you know, with all kinds of little crafting stations and just places like that, then you know, you're gonna want to put it in high traffic areas, which tends to be probably somewhere around Greenbrier, as you can see perfectly by my example. Around Greenbrier is a very good spot. Maybe somewhere near the start for, you know, if you want to help out new players, things like that. But other than that, there's not too many high traffic areas besides those two little locations. Maybe somewhere near the capital. That's not a bad idea, near Charleston. So if you do just want to be one of those like nice people that, you know, sets it up so that way, you know, any new players or just any player in general really needs a, you know, a crafting station or, you know, just anything like that, any kind of supplies, then, you know, they're in some luck. For anyone, you know, not looking to support the whole server with their one base, I do have a certain few areas that I do recommend for base building. So number one being kind of close to the Greenbrier. Around this area, as you can see my base is here, around this area is good. However, there is a problem with this spot, and I've run into this quite a few times. The Fischer Site is right here, so scorched bees do spawn here, you know, like, you know, and sometimes they'll wander up this way towards Greenbrier, but there has been a few times where they've actually came out this way towards my camp and where I am right now, and that's a problem because when you're sitting there crafting and you just start getting bombarded with their little echo things, their echo attack basically, I don't know what it's called, but that's what I'm calling it, then that is a huge problem. So I think really I recommend try to stay away from Fischer Sites unless, you know, absolutely have to. But I do think it's a very good area around Greenbrier to go ahead and try to set up shop, because, you know, Greenbrier does have all of the little things that you might need. It has all of the little stores in it, so, you know, you get your gun, ammo, supplies, different things like that. So it's a very good location, but that's only if you don't mind being in a high traffic area. Otherwise, there are several other good spots. Another good place would be somewhere near Watoga, but this is only if you have completed the quest, so that way the robots will not attack you. Otherwise, there's not really a whole reason to come here, because I think there is one trader here, if I'm not mistaken, that actually has some pretty good supplies. But other than that, I don't really recommend building over this way. Now, of course, if you do want to be secluded and have a very nice little landscape, up around this area, it does run into the edge of the map, I will say that. But up around this area, along the cliffs, if I do remember right, it does have some nice flat areas, so that way you can actually build quite a decent amount, and there's not a whole lot of trees at some parts, so you can basically build out and up. Now, for the sake of this video, I'm not really including places like workshops. However, a pretty good mention for workshops, I highly recommend Mount Blair. That's probably the best workshop that I can think of, mostly because of the food and water. But also there was another one. No, it was this one. The Red Rocket Mega Stop is actually the second best one. Actually, this one might be better than that one depending on what you need, but I just like the area of Mount Blair better than that. Okay, so a lot of people are going to be more than likely building around the Savage Divide area and just on the outside of this little section right here. Maybe not in the ash heap, because, you know, it doesn't really look as appealing for obvious reasons. But over this way, definitely, you know, to the left of the Savage Divide and in the Savage Divide, there will be a lot of people building. So this is a good area for obvious reasons. There are some very flat places, and there are some places, you know, in between where you can actually fit a base in the middle of nowhere. And as you can see, like I did here, I'm kind of close to this, but I'm also not. Here's my base. Actually, I'm right here. I'm on this little cliffside, and I'm just kind of secluded. So yes, I am kind of close to a few areas, but I'm also not at the same time. Really, just locations like this are pretty perfect and prime. Now, you do run into issues though with things like this. I'll go ahead and show you, like I've run into. If you want to build up, you do have the problem with the trees coming into your base, and also with some of these, you know, hilly side areas, there are a lot of rocks, and some of these just do not want to be built over. But if you are having trouble with this, flat areas that you can build on, I'm looking at a pretty good one right now around New Gad, which it shows water. There's not really water there, it's just a bunch of sand and crap, honestly. But that is a pretty good area for flat building. There are a few enemies in that area. I think it's just scorched for the most part, so you shouldn't really have to worry about too much. In the mire, if you really just feel like it, there are a few good little areas out past Rally Clay's bunker, out around here, and yet also there are a few good areas past, not here, but right around this area. You do have to, however, go up a little side up this way. You can't come from the Ransack bunker or Valley Galleria. You might be able to come this way. I haven't really checked, but from what I remember, I had to come along this way and end up right there. And last but not least, the greatest one of them all. If you really just want to be alone no matter what, and you want protection, well, do I have the little island for you? Okay, no, but seriously, the last place that I think is probably a pretty good little area to build at is probably kind of close to Camp Venture around here. There's a lot of quests that come from the Cranberry Bog region as well as the very bottom part of the mire, so it just kind of makes sense that way you can, because you can fast travel to your base, you know, for free, I should say that. So it just kind of helps, you know, if you're going from place to place and you really don't want to spend all the caps. It just kind of helps you out in the long run, saves you a lot of time and caps, and it's really just a smart idea in general. But yeah guys, that's going to do it for today's video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Tell me what you think in the comments down below. Maybe I missed a few places. Maybe you have your base, I don't know, actually on Deathclaw Island or something like that. Just let me know in the comments down below. And yeah, I appreciate all you guys watching, and peace.